Again, fight fans, welcome to mindforcombat. If new to the channel, my name is Rohan, and it's my platform where I do fight sports related content. If you're new here, why don't you help me grow my platform? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, and maybe hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. With that said, I'm just going to give you guys quickly my quick thoughts on some of the events that transpired last night at UFC 248. So, in the main event, we saw Israel Adesanya fighting Yoel Romero. It was a very interesting fight because, firstly, Izzy didn't need to be taking this fight against Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero coming to this fight on the back of 2 losses, or more importantly, going 1-3 in his last 4 fights. He was 42 years old, had lost to Paulo Costa, and had Israel Adesanya just been patient, well then he could have had his fight with Paulo Costa, and that would have been a lot more interesting. The fight didn't play out so interestingly though. It was a very boring, slow fight in a lot of ways. I quite enjoyed it because it was almost like a high-stakes chess game with dire consequences, to quote Joe Rogan. And with Yoel Romero, he always fights this way. What was shocking to me was that Yoel just completely disregarded any wrestling up until rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. And at that point, he wasn't really able to secure anything. He was able to get momentary takedowns, but he didn't manage to hold Israel Adesanya down. At that point, it looked almost as though, to me, the bigger issue than the wrestling or his ability to take Israel Adesanya down was just his conditioning, and he didn't want to utilize more energy to keep Izzy down, and it turned into a striking fight. And obviously being in there with a guy who's had 80 striking kickboxing fights is probably not a good idea for Yoel Romero, a career wrestler. Now, Yoel obviously suffered from this, and I know the fight was very controversial in a lot of ways because there was a lot of people saying that Yoel Romero could have gotten the win in this, but I felt like the right decision was made. I felt like Israel Adesanya had done enough to win the fight, and I feel like Yoel Romero only has himself to blame for that. Going forward at 42 years old, I don't think Yoel Romero's got too many options, especially when it comes to the top division. He may want to consider fighting at 205 pounds, just because the weight cut at this point, knowing that there's no title shot in sight, may not be worth his while. He's obviously always going to be an attraction, being the genetic freak that he is. A lot of people do enjoy watching Yoel Romero, myself included, and I believe going up to 205 and having some fights up there could be very interesting for him. What I wouldn't mind seeing if Shogun still plans to stick around after his fight with Rogerio is him fighting Shogun. I believe Yoel has done himself enough to be a respected commodity in the game right now, and Shogun's obviously a legend. That would be a fun fight for me. Fun, maybe not very consequential. Or even guys, there's other guys lower down the totem pole, which at this point Yoel should be fighting on the back of 3 losses, being 1-4 in his last 5, coming up a division in my opinion, which is what he should do. If he chooses to stay at middleweight, well then options remain limited for him, and maybe a fight with Kelvin Gastelum makes sense, but there's not too much I want to see there. For Israel Adesanya, the fight's pretty clear and obvious. What he's going to be doing next is he's going to be fighting Paulo Costa, which is a great fight. I really look forward to that fight, and I believe that Israel Adesanya is a guy who fights to the level of competition that he's fighting. I believe the fight with Paulo Costa could be a very fun one, and I believe that's a 50-50 fight in a lot of ways. I would love to see that. Cannot wait for that. Moving on to co-main event now. This is really the feature attraction of this video because it's a fight that really will stick in my mind for a long time, and one of the greatest fights I've ever seen, and most certainly the greatest fight in the history of the women's MMA, as long as I've been following it. I followed it long before it ever came to the UFC. This was an exceptional fight. You had Joanna Jedrzejczyk, the former world champion at strawweight, who had 5 title defenses, finally getting looked like she was getting her rhythm back, coming into this fight, taking on the Chinese champion, the first ever Chinese mixed martial arts champion in history, and it was a very, very interesting fight. The fight played out very interestingly. What we saw in this fight was that Joanna, who shined with combinations and with leg kicks and using her speed, where she was failing was that she didn't seem to have that same explosion or that same impact that Zhang was having when she was connecting, and those connections was what made the biggest difference to me in this fight, and that's what made the fight play out a certain way, because there was consequences for Joanna Jedrzejczyk every time she got into those exchanges. By the end of the fight, Joanna was virtually unrecognizable, and that was absolutely insane. But what was mad for me was that Weili Zhang, she just continued to, just push through, and she showed the heart of a champion. Even in the later rounds where Joanna's historically done really, really well, that was really, really appealing to me. So now, moving forward from that, obviously, hats off to both ladies, hats off to both ladies for an incredible fight. Moving forward from that, I would love to see Weili Zhang take some time off and then potentially fight the winner of Jessica Andrade and Rose Namajunas. I think Rose will win that fight. I'm going to do a breakdown for that fight, but Rose versus Weili Zhang would be an incredible fight for me. I really, really would look forward to that. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Rose as well, so that would be great. And for Joanna Jedrzejczyk, I believe she needs to rebuild and not one fight title shot. I believe she needs to go on a few fight win streak, but she's still almost there. So maybe a fight with Tatiana Suarez could make sense. That could be fun, or even a rematch with Claudia Gadelha. She obviously absolutely slaughtered Claudia Gadelha. Sorry, not Claudia, Carla Esparza. She obviously slaughtered her when she originally won her title from there, but since then Carla's won 2 fights in a row. She's established herself. She's been around for a long time. She's a perennial top 10 fighter. So those are my thoughts. Anyways, guys, I just thought I'd do some quick thoughts for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. As always, I'm Rohan, and this is Mind for Combat. Thank you to my wife for recording.
You're welcome.